Basting stitches, the sewing equivalent of a Swiss Army knife, from easing sleeve caps to gathering to providing temporary stitches. Today we're learning how to sew them, and I'll also show you a fab little hack to use when you find your pattern pieces aren't quite lining up. Basting stitches are temporary stitches with a long stitch length. Starting off, we'll show you how to sew basting stitches for gathering or easing in sleeves, which requires 2 lines of basting stitches. However, if you're using basting stitches as a temporary stitch, just 1 line of stitching is enough. Regardless of the purpose, it's important to remember to keep basting stitches within the seam allowance. This not only prevents needle marks on your garment, but also ensures a professional finish. At the machine, set your stitch length to the longest possible. Make sure you have pulled long threads before you start sewing. Next, stitch 0.6 centimeters or 1/4 inch from the raw edge. Sew until you're about 0.6 centimeters or 1/4 inch from the end. Then pull long threads before cutting. It's important not to backstitch when you're sewing with basting. When you're sewing for gathering or easing, add a second row of stitching 0.6 centimeters or 1/4 inch from the first row. Ensure both rows of basting stitches are within your seam allowance. To gather the fabric, first separate the threads. Holding only the top threads, gently pull the fabric along the basting to gather the material as needed. Next comes our little hack. We've all been there, frustrated when notches or pattern pieces that should match up just don't. On the pattern piece that's longer, sew a line of basting stitches. If the difference is only minor, a single line of basting might do the trick, but we'll show you 2 here. Next, line up the side seams and any notches. Then use the top 2 threads to gather the long piece until it fits perfectly. Spread out any gathers so they're even. In some cases, just adding the stitches can resolve a minor mismatch, but if you do have any gathers, just work them out with your thumbnail. Once everything is pinned in place, follow your pattern instructions to sew the seam. If there's a lot of gathering, take it slow. The aim is to end up with a seam with no visible puckers. Once sewn, give it a thorough pressing and you should end up with a perfectly matched seam. Just another day in the life of a basting stitch. If you love sewing, we've got something to help you plan out your creations. Our awesome and awesomely free PDF sewing planner. Jot down your measurements, hack plans, and supplies for every project and add your fabric swatches and garment sketches. Use one of our 4 croquis models or sketch on the blank planner pages. It also includes a collection planner for organizing swatches and styling ideas for mini wardrobe collections and a 12-month sewing calendar. Get all your measurements sorted with our journal and step-by-step video tutorial, which walks you through how to take each measurement. Download your planner for free at madelabel.co/planner so you can get creative and plan out the wardrobe of your dreams.